There's not much to do in a small town. I spent most of my days playing by the creek in the woods behind our house. While walking one day, I see something moving in the distance. I stopped to look to see what it was. As it stepped out, I noticed it was Bear. I had a hatchet I used while cutting down limbs for my trials. I was scared. I hoped it didn't see me as I backed up out of sight. Knowing my way around, I thought I'd just walk straight through the woods and stay out of its way. Now I was off the trail, and this seemed to be easier way, so I cut a path through. Finally I arrived at the river where I was going sail my boat. Well, it was really a banana split container, but it sailed and looked like a boat. Playing there for a while, it started to get dark. I knew I'd be in trouble if I was not home before dark, so I head back home the way I came. Walking back this way was darker than my other trails. While walking, I came to a spot in the trail that split. I knew I only made one path. I told myself I must have overlooked it. Limbs rustling behind me as I tried to remember the way I came. The sound grew closer, so took off down one of the paths, frightened, thinking the bear was behind me. It gets dark, I know. I took the wrong path, but I couldn't stop. I hear footsteps all around me, what sound like muffled laughs here and there. The feeling someone watching me. I could feel the tears rolling down my face. I walked as far as I could. I had to rest, stopping at a tree I climbed up to see if I could find my house. It was dark and the fog so thick you could cut it with a knife. It has been a while since I heard any noise, so I got up and continued walking. As soon as my foot hit the ground, they came back. The hairs on my neck stood up, turning around to see a man-shaped figure from before start running toward me. I take off as fast as I could, turning to see if he was chasing me. He was gone. I didn't know where I was. The woods seemed like craters, walls tall as if they grew around me. There was no way out. I was running in circles. As I turned my head, it stood there in front of me. I screamed, hoping by some chance someone will hear me, and ran the other way, running in circles all night. The laughing was all around me, no way to know where it was coming from. I had to stop again. Gasping for air, I hit the ground. I could feel the ground moving across my body. I was being dragged by the foot. Slowly opening my eyes, the man's hands were black and rough, hands twice the size of a human hand, tall with skin like leather. His face fading in and out as I am dragged. The face of a barren man. As he saw me look at him, he roared loud and sharp, kicking and screaming, fighting to get away. Hitting it with my hatchet with no effect. It bounced like I was hitting rock, only scratching it. I knew I was going to die. Then the sun comes over the hill, and it released me and ran between two fallen trees that held one another up, making an arch, and without turning left or right he vanished. Never saw it past the tree it ducked between. It was gone. I ran for what seemed like forever. Came back to the trail. I knew I was close to home. I could hear my grandmother yelling for me. I knew I was going to get the switch this time. It's be a whole day. Scared to death, I explained what had happened to my parents. They looked shocked. They told me I had been missing for 3 days. It wasn't possible. I only was gone 1 day. My parents searched the wood, but unfortunately for me, it was never found. I was told it was my imagination, and that was the last time I'd ever go alone. My best friend didn't believe me, but he went with me and burned the trees where it vanished.